Welcome back to Moments in Spain. Hi, I'm Liz, and in this video, I'm going to share kind of a crazy, weird situation that we had when we checked out a house in Rute, Cordova. So, after securing our rental, my husband and I got the let's buy a house bug, and we decided to go through Idealista, and we found a nice little house in Rute. It was a 3 bedroom, 1 bath, right under 60,000 euros. And yeah, we decided let's rent a car and check it out. The footage that you'll see is the actual trip out to Rute. The town or Pueblo Rute has right under 10,000 people living there, and they have about 4 to 5 museums. There's a anise museum, jamon museum, uh, a sugar museum, and I believe there's a museum for this chocolate Belen nativity scene that they set out during Christmas. So I was really excited. I thought, oh, this place really has, you know, a lot of history. And yeah, so as we get into the town, everything seems all right. We actually pass a couple of the museums. And as we're getting to the house, we're noticing there's like some kind of sketchy areas. And what I mean by sketchy is there were people just sitting outside, like on the sidewalk. They weren't really doing anything, they were just having a conversation. But I noticed there's a lot of clothing, luggage, mattresses just thrown out. And some of the houses, as we got closer to the house we were going to go look at, looked like they were kind of run down, and they had boards on the windows to keep people out. I don't know, but that was like the first sign, something's going on here. As soon as we get to the house, we park, and of course, this doesn't have any kind of parking. You're just parking um, close right in front of the house, but actually on the street. And I noticed this older lady comes out of the house right next door, and she's just looking at us. She's not smiling or anything. She's just being nosy, like, who are these people? And I say, buenas tardes. She kind of just looks at me, smiles a little bit, and I hear some mumbling, and then she goes right back in the house. So the agent gets to the house, opens the door, and of course, looks just like in the pictures, only a little smaller. They do those Photoshop, but got pictures of the family, wedding pictures, baby pictures. Um, I see the liquor cabinet. It's got bottles of liquor. But I noticed the guy starts talking about the house, and he's like, yeah, so there's no electricity and no running water right now because the owner shut it off. And as we're walking into the living room, I'm noticing there's like this old TV, like from the 70s or 80s. It's got that huge back. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think anyone's living here. And I asked the guy, well, how long has the house been empty? And he's like, oh, yeah, it's been a few years, and the owners live in Valencia. And we get into the kitchen. There's no fridge. It's like an old stove. And I'm like, this looks like from the 1950s. He's like, yeah, you're probably right. This house was built in the 50s. We go upstairs to see the bedrooms. Now, keep in mind, the house is in good condition. There's no funky odors inside. I didn't get any really bad vibe. I just thought it was strange that their personal pictures were still hanging on the wall. And the kitchen, of course, looked really, really outdated, including the stove. So I'm thinking, it couldn't have just been 5 or 6 years. I'm thinking over 20 years. There's really been no one here. I tried to get more information, but the agent's kind of, alluding as to exactly what year they moved out. And we get upstairs to the bedrooms. I'm noticing there's a crib. The other bedroom is like for a toddler, tons of toys. And start getting the impression like, okay, it looks like they just up and left from one day to the other. Like, what's going on here? And I was just joking around. I said, hey, there aren't any spirits in here, are there? And he's kind of serious. He's like, no, 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 no. You don't have to worry about that. Let's go up to the terrace because this is the best part of the house, blah, blah, blah. So we get up to the terrace, and yeah, it's a nice terrace. Has a lot of space, not as big as what the photo shows, of course, but um, seemed nice. You could see basically the whole town. Well, not the whole town, but it was a nice view. The guy next door, he decides he's going to come out for a minute and just stand there, not look at us, but just kind of stand there and just try to listen to our conversation with the agent. Then he goes right back in. And we're still trying to get some information. He's going through the whole process of buying the house. And he's like, well, the contract's going to be written so that we can take up to 6 months. And I'm like, 6 months? And he's like, yeah, because you never know if you're going to need time, or the owner, something may happen. So he might have a situation and he may not be able to, sign all the documents and anything. So we just like to write it out that we have about 6 months. So I'm like, what is this guy talking about? But anyway, we go back downstairs, and I'm not feeling good about this. I mean, the price was right. The house was in decent condition. Yes. The kitchen was going to have to be basically reformed, redone, but it was well preserved for the year the house was built. What I just couldn't get over is, where the heck is his family? Like, you don't just leave all your stuff behind. Something had to have happened. And so we leave. The agent starts, walking to his car, wherever his car was. I don't know where he was parked because the office is not en route. And we start driving off, and I ask my husband, I'm like, let's go back and let me see if I can talk to the old lady next door and see if she can give me some information about the owners. We go back. I'm knocking on the door. No one's answering. I go to the house next to that one, and no one answers. And we're just driving around. People are just staring at us like, you don't belong here. What are you doing here? I don't know. It was like these people were looking out for, like they were lookouts. That's the impression I got anyway. So we start turning down another street. I see this lady walking down the sidewalk, and we stop. I said, I'm going to get out and ask her. And I said, hey, do you know anything about a specific house on the next street? And she just stops me and says, listen, I would not even take that house if it was given to me as a gift. Don't. And that was it. We just left. And on the way back to our Airbnb, we started looking up some information. Apparently, the year before, there was a big sting en route with the National Police, and it was like 150 officers that had come out. Now, granted, this is a town of less than 10,000 people. Apparently, they had a huge drug bust, and that particular area where the house was, or where the house is, or is apparently an area of heavy drug activity. After checking out a few other houses, it is pretty common when someone dies that the family doesn't even come to the house and get their personal belongings. I'm assuming if there was gold or something in there, they would. But as far as like pictures and stuff, some of these other houses that have been vacant for years and years, you're still going to see pictures of the family, which I thought was pretty weird. I would not leave any pictures, or if someone close to me passed away and I went into their house, if they were close to me, of course, then I would get the pictures. I mean, that's memories. But apparently here, that's not everyone does that. And I noticed that in some of these older houses. So I'm assuming these are older people. They die, and the families, they're just going about their life, and it's just, emotionally, I guess, too much for them to go back into the house and get the personal belongings, because I've seen people with their coats still hanging on the coat rack. This one house had some weird funky, ugly looking dolls on the bed. Um, and you can tell they were probably older people because a lot of or most of the bedrooms right above the bed, you have a cross. And I don't know why that reminds me of The Exorcist. Um, in the movie, of course, the cross had not been turned upside down, but I don't know what it is about it. Is, and I'm Catholic, but of course, I'm not going to church every Sunday Catholic type of thing. But yeah, it was pretty weird for me anyway. But yep, so that is the story, and I'm gonna put some video of another house where these freaky dolls were at, and yeah, it's strange. All right, well, see you on the next one.